let's be honest. You've felt it before, that sudden lock of eyes across a room that makes your chest tighten and your thoughts stumble. For a split second, the noise around you fades, and all you can feel is that quiet, electric pull. You tell yourself it must mean something, or maybe you tell yourself it means nothing, just coincidence, just timing, just imagination. But deep down, the question lingers, unsettling and persistent. Why did she look at me like that? And what did it really mean? I want you to understand something most men never hear explained clearly. Eye contact is not accidental the way we like to pretend it is, especially not sustained, direct eye contact. A woman's eyes are not just sensory tools, they are emotional instruments. They reveal curiosity, assessment, caution, and sometimes desire, all without a single word spoken. When she meets your gaze directly, your nervous system reacts before your logic can catch up. That's not weakness. That's biology responding to social meaning. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When a woman makes direct eye contact with you, she is gathering information. She is reading your confidence, your self-control, your emotional steadiness. In that moment, you are being evaluated, not judged in a cruel way, but measured. Your posture, your stillness, your reaction to being seen. Most men fail this moment not because they lack value, but because they reveal insecurity too quickly. They look away in fear, or they stare back with tension, silently begging for approval. But if her eye contact lingers just a breath longer than polite, something else is happening. Curiosity has replaced neutrality. She is asking herself a question she may not even consciously hear yet. Is he safe? Is he aware? Is he interesting? That question alone is powerful. It means you have entered her psychological space, even briefly. Attraction does not begin with words. It begins with awareness. What most men misunderstand is that eye contact is not a promise. It is an opening, a door cracked just enough to see if you will rush, hesitate, or remain grounded. Many men mistake it for an invitation and immediately overinvest emotionally. Others dismiss it to protect their ego. Both reactions sabotage potential. The calm man, the one who understands the moment, neither chases nor retreats. He stays present. There's another layer most people never talk about. A woman may hold eye contact to test emotional leadership. Can you handle being seen without shrinking or inflating yourself? Can you remain composed under attention? In her world, that matters more than clever lines or perfect timing. Eye contact is a silent negotiation of power and comfort. So, if you've ever wondered why that look stayed with you longer than the interaction itself, it's because your intuition recognized something real. Not certainty, not destiny, but possibility. And possibility, when misunderstood, becomes obsession. When understood, it becomes control. This is where awareness begins, and where most men either grow or stay confused, repeating the same emotional patterns without ever knowing why. Now let's go deeper, because this is where the meaning of her eye contact starts to split into very different paths. Not all direct eye contact is created equal, and the difference between interest and indifference lives in subtle details most men are never taught to notice. The duration, the softness, the timing, and what happens immediately after all matter more than the look itself. When a woman holds eye contact and then slowly looks away, especially downward or to the side, she is not disengaging. She is regulating emotion. That brief withdrawal is often her way of managing internal arousal, calming herself, or preventing herself from revealing too much too soon. This is especially true if she looks back again shortly after. That return is key. It signals that her attention was not accidental. She chose to come back. But if she locks eyes and her expression hardens, jaw tight, eyebrows slightly raised, that's not attraction. That's assessment mixed with caution. She's alert, not open. Many men misread this and escalate, only to feel shut down moments later. The truth is, eye contact can also be a boundary marker. She may be saying, without words, I see you, but don't misinterpret this. Confidence in this moment means respecting the signal, not forcing meaning onto it. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Some women use eye contact to validate themselves, not to invite you. It can be unconscious. She wants to feel seen, desired, impactful. Your reaction feeds that need. If you immediately break posture, fidget, smile nervously, or rush toward her energy, she gets the validation without having to invest anything, and you walk away confused, replaying the moment in your head, wondering what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You just gave too much too fast. Now consider the opposite. When a woman makes direct eye contact and her face softens, lips relax, breathing slows, and she remains still, something deeper is happening. Stillness is comfort. Comfort is rare. In that state, she is not guarding. She is present. That presence is often mistaken for flirting, but it's more fundamental than that. It's recognition. She's recognizing you as someone who could potentially enter her emotional space without disrupting it. Men who understand this do something very different. They don't rush to fill the silence. They don't perform. They don't seek reassurance. They allow the moment to exist. This communicates emotional maturity at a level words can't replicate. It tells her you are not dependent on her reaction to feel grounded. And paradoxically, that independence is what often deepens her interest. Another truth most men resist hearing is that eye contact can awaken attraction that wasn't there seconds before. Attraction is not always pre-existing. Sometimes it's created in the moment by emotional resonance. When she looks at you and senses calm confidence instead of hunger or fear, her perception shifts. You become different from the men who chase her attention mindlessly. So if you've ever felt that a look from a woman carried weight you couldn't explain, it's because it did. Not because it guaranteed anything, but because it revealed a moment where psychology, biology, and emotion briefly aligned. Understanding this doesn't make you manipulative. It makes you aware. And awareness is what separates men who guess from men who understand. Here's the part no one warns you about. Direct eye contact doesn't just reveal her psychology, it exposes yours. The way you respond internally to being seen tells you everything about where you are as a man. Most men don't realize this because they're too focused on decoding her, not observing themselves. But her eyes are a mirror, and what they reflect can either unsettle you or ground you. If her gaze makes you anxious, it's not because she's powerful. It's because you've outsourced your self-worth to external validation. Your body reacts with tension, your thoughts race, and suddenly you're performing instead of being. She senses that shift immediately. Women are exceptionally sensitive to changes in emotional state, especially in men they're evaluating. The moment you become reactive, the dynamic changes. You're no longer centered, you're seeking. But when a man can hold eye contact without tightening, without over-smiling, without needing anything in return, something subtle but important happens. He signals self-containment. That quality is rare. It communicates that his identity doesn't hinge on her approval. For many women, that alone differentiates him from the majority of men competing for attention. There's also a timing element most men miss. If a woman makes direct eye contact during moments of transition, entering a room, leaving a conversation, or during a pause, it often carries more weight. Transitional moments are psychologically vulnerable. That's when real attention leaks out. A look during those moments suggests she's aware of you even when she's not actively engaging. Awareness precedes intention. However, you must understand restraint. Not every meaningful look needs to be acted on. Some are simply signals to remain grounded, to notice, to stay open. Men who feel compelled to act on every spark often burn themselves emotionally. The disciplined man allows attraction to develop naturally, without forcing a conclusion. That patience is not passive, it's strategic emotional control. Another truth most men aren't ready for is this. A woman may maintain eye contact because she senses depth in you, not because she wants immediate interaction. Depth is calming, depth feels safe, especially in a world where many interactions feel rushed. transactional, and shallow. If you radiate depth, she may simply want to experience it for a moment. That doesn't obligate her, and it doesn't diminish you. The danger lies in attaching meaning too quickly. When you assign fantasy to a look, you create pressure that never existed. Pressure kills attraction faster than indifference. This is why emotionally intelligent men remain curious, not convinced. They observe patterns over time instead of clinging to isolated moments. And here's the quiet advantage. When you stop chasing meaning, women often reveal it themselves. They reinitiate eye contact. They find reasons to be in your proximity. They open conversational doors without making it obvious. These behaviors are extensions of that initial moment, not replacements for it. So the next time a woman meets your gaze and holds it, don't rush to label it. Let it inform you. About her, yes, but more importantly, about you. Are you calm? Are you present? Are you grounded in yourself? Because the man who can answer yes to those questions silently is the man who rarely needs to wonder what her eyes meant. There's a deeper psychological layer to eye contact that most men never consider, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Eye contact is not just about attraction, it's about emotional safety. Before desire, before curiosity, before anything romantic, a woman is unconsciously asking one core question. How do I feel in his presence? Her eyes are the fastest way to answer that. When she looks at you directly, she's not only observing you, she's monitoring her own internal response. Does her body relax or tense? Does her breathing change? Does she feel calm or alert? These reactions happen in seconds, beneath conscious thought. If your presence feels unpredictable or needy, her nervous system picks it up instantly, even if she can't explain why she suddenly feels closed off. This is why some men are confused when a woman makes strong eye contact but never follows up. The look was real, but the feeling didn't stabilize. Attraction without safety rarely moves forward. Eye contact can spark interest, but emotional consistency is what allows it to grow. A grounded man creates a steady emotional environment without trying to control it. There's also the concept of congruence. When your eye contact matches your energy, your tone, and your behavior, you feel trustworthy. If you stare intensely but speak nervously or smile too much while holding a dominant gaze, the mismatch creates discomfort. Women are highly attuned to these inconsistencies. Congruence signals authenticity. Authenticity signals safety. Another subtle truth is that women often test emotional leadership through eye contact during silence. Silence makes many men uncomfortable. They rush to fill it with jokes, explanations, or questions. But when a woman holds eye contact in silence, she's watching how you manage space. Can you hold stillness without collapsing into awkwardness or arrogance? That ability suggests emotional regulation, which is deeply attractive on a subconscious level. Eye contact can also be a form of emotional invitation without commitment. She may be opening a door just enough to see if you respect the pace. Men who push too hard after a look often feel rejected later, not because she wasn't interested, but because she felt rushed. Patience communicates confidence in your own value. Impatience communicates fear of losing an opportunity. There's a painful truth many men avoid. Some women will never act on their attraction, no matter how strong the eye contact. Social context, timing, past experiences, and personal boundaries all play a role. This is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reminder that attraction is complex, not transactional. Understanding this protects you from internalizing rejection that was never personal. When you stop trying to extract meaning and instead focus on how you show up emotionally, something shifts. Your presence becomes calmer, your reactions become slower and more deliberate, and that change is often felt more strongly than anything you could say. So if her eyes meet yours and linger, don't ask yourself what you can get from the moment. Ask yourself what you are offering emotionally without words. Stability, awareness, respect. These are the signals that turn fleeting looks into lasting interest. And even when they don't, they build something more important: your own emotional control. Here's where most men completely miss the invisible rules. A woman's direct eye contact is not always about attraction, but when it is, it's layered, and the subtlety will either draw you in or push you away. The key is noticing micro-expressions, tiny changes in her eyes, mouth, and posture that speak louder than words ever could. These shifts tell you whether she's curious, cautious, or captivated. Miss them, and you will misread the signal entirely. When a woman slightly tilts her head while maintaining eye contact, it's not coincidence. That tilt signals openness and a willingness to process your energy. It's a subtle invitation, a subconscious way of saying, I'm noticing you and I'm evaluating if you're safe to interact with. Combine that with softening eyes or a slow blink, and you're in the territory of genuine intrigue. Yet most men interpret this as a green light to chase, miss the nuance, and turn curiosity into pressure. Timing also matters. Eye contact that occurs at peaks of emotional energy, laughter, surprise, or during a charged conversation carries far more weight than neutral glances across a room. Why? Because the eyes reflect emotion before words can. If her gaze finds yours in a moment of genuine emotional expression, she's subconsciously linking her experience to you. That link is powerful. It can linger in her mind long after the interaction ends, silently shaping how she remembers you. But let's be clear, sustained eye contact without context isn't automatically desire. A woman may hold a gaze because she's asserting control, assessing dominance, or simply curious about your reaction. This is why understanding your own response is crucial. Most men panic or overperform. The correct response isn't to act, it's to remain grounded. Let her stare, let her evaluate, and show through your presence that you are unaffected by scrutiny. That calmness is magnetic. Here's the hard truth. Attraction is a slow burn, not a lightning strike. Eye contact can spark awareness, curiosity, and tension, but it alone doesn't create connection. Real connection comes from how you integrate the moment into the larger emotional picture. A man who responds with awareness, not instinctive hunger, communicates emotional intelligence without a single word. He signals that he is safe, confident, and stable, qualities far more compelling than any pickup line or bravado. Another detail often overlooked is the return gaze. If she glances away but returns, it's rarely accidental. It indicates lingering attention and subtle interest. Each return gaze is like a pulse of curiosity, giving you information about her engagement without explicit signals. Men who miss these micro-cues act too quickly or miss the window entirely. Men who notice them and remain composed gain psychological leverage. The balance is delicate, but awareness creates influence. Finally, understand this. Eye contact is a dance of perception, not obligation. She's observing you, evaluating comfort, safety, and presence. Your job is not to decode it obsessively or chase it desperately. Your job is to show up fully, remain centered, and let the interaction flow. When you master this, what was once confusing, those charged, fleeting glances, becomes a roadmap, a map that reveals not only how she perceives you, but how you perceive yourself. And that is far more powerful than you realize. Now let's be brutally honest. By this point, you understand that a woman's direct eye contact is far more than a casual glance. It's a doorway into her subconscious, a mirror reflecting both her curiosity and your inner state. But here's the kicker most men never hear. How you respond to that look determines everything. Not just whether she's attracted, but whether you become a man who commands attention naturally, effortlessly, without chasing validation. The first truth is this. Most men fail because they are unconscious. They see the gaze and immediately jump to interpretation, labeling it as flirtation, approval, or destiny. They try to force a reaction, speak too quickly, or overcompensate with humor, charm, or desperation. This behavior breaks the silent rhythm of connection. Women don't respond to effort, they respond to presence. Calm, controlled, self-aware presence. That is magnetic in a way words cannot replicate. Second, direct eye contact is a test of emotional leadership. Every time her eyes meet yours, she's asking, can he remain composed? Can he hold his energy without chasing mine? Can he exist fully in himself even while being seen? These are not conscious questions. They happen at a biological, subconscious level. If your internal state wavers, if anxiety, neediness, or insecurity leaks out, she notices instantly. She may smile, she may look away, but the assessment is made. You either pass or fail without a word spoken. Here's a subtle truth men almost never exploit. Repetition matters. One glance may mean nothing. Two glances spaced apart indicate curiosity. Multiple glances across time suggest attention and interest. Women often test in layers, letting you reveal consistency in your presence. Men who overreact to a single glance miss the bigger picture. Men who remain grounded, calm, and aware, however, send signals of emotional stability that resonate far deeper than any physical attraction. There's also a psychological twist. The more comfortable you are in her gaze, the more she unconsciously invests attention in you. If you react with composure, she senses strength. If you react with tension, she senses instability. Emotional equilibrium in these moments is invisible, yet irresistible. It communicates what words cannot: confidence, value, and reliability. And in the unspoken world of attraction, that is everything. Finally, here's your actionable takeaway. Every time a woman meets your eyes, do not chase meaning, do not assign fantasy. Instead, observe, feel, and regulate yourself. Notice how her energy interacts with yours. Notice how your energy reacts to hers. In those silent, potent seconds, a dialogue occurs between your consciousness and her subconscious. Your ability to remain anchored, aware, and steady will determine whether a spark turns into curiosity and curiosity into desire. Now, let me leave you with something to reflect on. Imagine she looks at you and you hold the gaze calmly, letting the moment breathe. You feel your own emotions without needing her validation. You sense her subtle attention, the micro-expressions, the rhythm of her interest. Now answer this. If one glance is awareness, two glances are curiosity, how many glances does it take before attention becomes attraction? Comment your answer below, and if you found this truth revealing, like the video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to understand what her eyes really mean.